Hello and welcome to Career Nuggets, the career development program designed to educate, inspire and enlighten you with bite-sized ideas for your career journey. I'm your host, Morenika Ajayi, and each week I will discuss a career-related topic with special guests from various professional fields. Today's topic is employability skills. Employability skills are needed to be successful in any occupation. However, while some occupations require specific skills and abilities, almost all employers will require you to have the basics such as great team working skills, organizational skills, good time management, and so on and so forth. Now, more than ever, employers are looking for employees who have these skills in abundance, as one of the greatest concerns of employers today is the ability to find outstanding workers. So, with this said, what exactly are employers looking for? I will discuss all this and more with today's special guest. Today, we are joined by a panel of special guests. Femi Olatidoye currently works as the head of HR operations at Genesis Housing Group. Femi Oshinaike is a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. Wendy Honnigan-Swaby is also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Professional Development and is an innovative HR leader. On that note, I would like to welcome Femi Olatidoye. You're welcome. Wendy Honnigan.
Thank you. Welcome.
And Femi Oshinaike, welcome to Career Nuggets.
Glad to be here.
Really a pleasure to have you in the studio today. We're going to kick off now. I'd like to find out a little bit about yourselves. So if I start with you, Wendy, tell me about your career journey in a nutshell, how you got to where you are today.
I think it's always really difficult to for the key moments, but for me it started out, I graduated, I did a bit of community work, and in supporting a community project hired some play workers for that project. And I just chose my degree for my own interest. It wasn't particularly functional in terms of career related, but I decided I enjoyed the recruitment side of things, and got a very junior role with the London Fire Brigade.
I see.
So that was really exciting for me. It enabled me to sort of work for the London boroughs, and they gave me my first grounding. So they backed me professionally to take on, for my profession, a specialist qualification, a kind of institute qualification.
So what was your degree?
My degree was actually in English and American Studies.
Oh, really?
So my original ambition was to actually go abroad and work in America.
And now you are?
And now I'm in HR. I'm a head of HR, currently for an affordable housing and care provider, called Octavia, which I thoroughly enjoy. So it's been a kind of mixed career, really.
Yeah. An interesting one, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I'm still enjoying it. So that's the key thing.
We're going to probe into that a bit more later in the show. Femi, let's have your journey.
I used to be a security officer.
Really?
Yeah, started off in retail security, and moved on from there to static, and then door work, bouncer, and then after that, close protection, bodyguarding. I found out that along the way I thought I was enjoying it, but I found out that was not for me, because I'm more of a people person. So, and I moved into HR after that.
Really?
Yeah, I started off.
What a transition that was.
I know. I started off in training as HR training administrator in London Borough of Enfield.
I see.
Yeah. Again, like Wendy, it gave me that grounding. It gave me that understanding of not just the theoretical part of HR, but the practical part of HR, and especially training. And then from there, I started working for different companies, including Reading Partnership, Working Links, and Reading Partnership especially was the one that actually gave me that grounding in welfare to work. Because training is more interesting when it comes to like specific training, especially training where the client that you're training have been informed that they have to, mandated, they have to be there. So they don't want to be there.
So I look forward to all the training tips you have to give us since you've trained so many.
But now I'm now a learning and development consultant, working for different companies.
Thank you for that. Femi?
I think my journey was quite simple. I went into HR through graduate recruitment, basically. For those who do know, the old Safeways, that was my first array into HR.
That's Morrison's now, isn't it?
It's now Morrison's.
Yeah.
Okay. And I did that for a year and a half. Subsequently went on to local authority, and I probably worked for 3 different local authorities within there, moving up to a very senior level in Westminster City Council.
I see.
Subsequently then moved to housing associations, where I am at the moment, with a combination of consultancy.
I see.
Worked for a number of insight consultancy who are quite big in the HR consultancy world. Equally worked in private sector, so it's a combination of public sector as well as private, as well as third sector, basically.
Okay, thank you for that. And remember, you two at home can get involved with the conversation. Email or tweet in your answers to the questions on screen, and I'll read some of your comments later on in the show. So, Femi Oshinaike, I want to just go back to you. Briefly, tell us what employability skills is all about. What does this mean?
Usually very mistaken as a skill, but it's mainly a skill and quality as well. Employability skills and qualities are skills and qualities that you need to secure an employment, stay within that employment, get promoted within that employment, and then move from that employment to another employment. So it's not only about just getting a job, it's about staying in that job and being recognized in your industry. That's mainly what it is.
That's what it is in a nutshell. Now, Wendy, what would you say are the top 3 key employability skills that one needs to have?
I think employers now are really looking for people who've got great communication skills. So I think if I was going to highlight one, first of all, primarily it would have to be that. You've got to be able to demonstrate that in how you work with others, how you work with your team, how you work with customers. And a lot of roles now, that's where you're going to have the most impact. So great communication skills. In addition to that, I think great teamwork. Because unless you're in a very singular sort of contracting type position, you're by yourself, you need to interact with others. So I think developing that kind of ability to be sensitive to others, to understand and be reliable, and to know how to function in a social setting. So great teamwork and interaction skills, the communication, teamwork, and I would say just being really proactive stroke energy. You've got to bring a level of energy to your work. You've got to be able to kind of rise to whatever's going on. You may be commissioned for a specific job, but how you stand out is your ability to give a bit extra and always to take that energy and invest it in your team and your work.
Thank you for that. Femi, what do you have to add on to that? What everybody's just said.
For me, it's about building relationships within the workplace. I think that's going to be the way forward now. If you're not able to build relationships with a diverse workforce, it becomes very difficult. Able to be forward thinking, especially the higher you go, the more demands are placed on you to be very strategic in what you do. Interpersonal skills, as Wendy has highlighted, is a must. It runs across the board, basically. You've got to be able to engage with a range of individuals, because the stakeholders you will be engaging will be external as well internal stakeholders, and that ability and skill set is very fundamental into the workplace. Also, one thing I do come across is written communication. Every day now you'll be asked to produce reports, emails, whatever the case may be. It's a fundamental skill, and you are judged by that to some degree. How you communicate orally is very important, as equally as written communication, and that gives a pretext as you as an individual going forward.
Okay, thank you so much. Communication seems to be a very strong theme coming out of this. But what would your advice be to you, Femi? Somebody who is struggling in communication, how can they, because it seems to be a very key skill required for any job, cutting across all jobs, what would you say?
I would say practice make perfect. I was very concerned when I was going into training and development because of my accent.
Okay.
You know, and what I decided to do, believe it or not,
Yeah.
I decided that for 2 years I would be talking to a stranger, one stranger per week.
Really?
Yeah. So I would just meet people on the train and say, hi, hello, how are you? My name is Femi. I did that for 2 years, and I found that for 2 years, every week I have to, it was a demand I placed on myself. And after that, I found that it was very useful, because when you're doing training, first, everyone you're meeting are all strangers at first. Okay. So
That's
it helped me.
That's an interesting way to go around it.
I know. It helped me to be quick in getting information out of people. I mean, by the time I was done on my train, my 7:35 from Perfectly, everyone knew my name.
If I was on that train, I probably would have.
I'm sure.
Sure.
Everyone knew my name. Hi, hello, how are you? How's Lola? How's everyone? It was practice make perfect. Challenge yourself. Put yourself out of your comfort zone and do things that you really will find difficult, and that's how you're going to grow.
Okay, Wendy, I want you to go, travel down memory lane and remember a time when you were not as employable as you are now.
Okay.
Can you think of any time?
I'm traveling.
Yeah, you're traveling.
And I think it's kind of the hardest point, I think, at which to get a job is always going to be the first job. And I remember trying to get Saturday jobs, that kind of stuff was always really difficult, because everyone wanted a Saturday job. And I kind of walked all the way up and down Oxford Street, Marble Arch, with my CV, and I just constantly and it was like a weekend game for me, until I just happened by chance, they were recruiting. I think I'd probably been there my third time around.
Third time.
So I would say it is a really difficult situation to be in when you don't have either, you can't demonstrate that you've got experience, which most people want.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Or you've got the full range of skills, because it sounds a bit hypothetical when you're saying, I can do this.
Yes.
And, you can't give a real example.
Yeah.
And I just think having effort, making sure that you just keep going at it, persistence, and try and maintain a really positive attitude, because I think that comes across again when you're speaking to individuals and you're seeking work. If you start getting a bit beaten down and you get a bit negative and you're expecting rejection, it kind of comes out. So you have to keep treating it like it's the first time you're meeting them and you're looking for that job. People always want a positive individual around them.
So how was it for you? Obviously, you were competing against people that probably were more experienced than you.
Definitely.
Being your first job.
Definitely.
So I know you did mention that one has to be positive about it, but practically, is that possible when you keep on applying for the same job that you think, what exactly are they looking for? But you keep getting knocked back.
And perhaps that's a bit further in my career. So I think sometimes as you start to go up the ladder and you're building skill, and you do go for jobs and you don't get them, and you think, actually, I have got sufficient experience. I think you've got to remember that you don't actually know what the other candidates were like. It could be as well, it's just not the right job for you. Because I know lots of people, when they do get a job, 3 months into it, they think, actually, if I'd known certain things about the culture of the organisation or the people that were here, so sometimes when they're reflecting back that you're not the right fit for the job, actually you might get there and think, I'm not the right fit for it. So sometimes you have to accept a bit of fate and destiny when things don't work out, and just I would say take feedback. If you're when I say take feedback, don't make it define you. Some people get feedback and they think, oh, I'll never have those skills, I don't have that. That's not what it means. If one person says it, it's just information. If 10 people say it, then you can think, well, actually there might be something here. But talent is always something you can build. So I think take feedback, build your skills, and be persistent. Just keep going.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, just picking on what Wendy's saying, Femi. Now, it appears to me that if you're going for a job, you've got to see yourself like a marketable product. Competing against. Would you agree with me?
I totally agree. This market is very fierce, to put it for a much better term. You are constantly competing with the best. There are a number of people who have degrees. I see a number of people having second degrees. There are people who have got the experience. I think you've got to ask yourself and do a SWOT analysis. What's the unique selling point of